Alright, this is DeagleBeagle. So, today I'm going to make a video on the best assault vest users. So, there's probably about 14 ones that are pretty good. The rest, probably not. I'll explain why. So, I should even make like a PowerPoint saying what the best assault vesters have. So a Pokemon like Amoonguss wouldn't be a good assault vester. Here, I'll make a Google Slides. Because Amoonguss doesn't have a lot of good attacking potential. No, we'll do a... Hold on. You gotta add a one that looks maybe like this. So that's weird, it doesn't even show. Oh, now it does show. Okay, so we make a list basically. Amoonguss, I should say not best AV mons. Well, what qualities make a good assault vest user? Maybe I worded it wrong, but basically there's some Pokemon that would suck with assault vest, like Amoonguss. So you need decent offensive potential, which Amoonguss doesn't really have. Not a mon better used for support or non-attacking moves. So Amoonguss, for example, or maybe I shouldn't put Amoonguss because then you'll think I'm saying it's a good assault vest user. Okay, and then Annihilate, that is not that good of an assault vester because it is decent, but it probably needs bulk up to really take advantage of its full potential with either mouse hold or even without mouse hold. So to have assault vest on it means you can't protect when they can just double up on you and get rid of you quick, and you can't do much about it if you don't have protect. But if you have protect, then it makes it a lot more difficult for them, protect and bulk up. So it depends on how you're using Annihilate, but assault vest is probably not the best way to use it, and definitely not with Arboliva. It primarily is used for like leech seed, strength sap, and whatnot. So I don't think assault vest is a very good item on it. And where did I put that? I already put non-attack moves. You shouldn't have too many of those. I mean, like a Pokemon like Arboliva, even if you had all attacking moves, it wouldn't be that great. So it's not going to be a good assault vester. I should say on a mon where it is commonly taken out with physical attacks. So here's an example, like Arcanine. I'll just say Amoonguss is a bad AV user up here, and let's just say another Pokemon to give more examples. Indeedee F is a bad candidate because it needs to use redirection, trick room, etc. So it's not very offensive. Arcanine is common. Other Pokemon too. Well, I mean, Pokemon in general, anything with Assault Vest can be taken out by physical attacks. But on certain Mons, they're less likely to be taken out with physical attacks. Like Pokemon like Great Tusk that has a lot of defense. So I should even put that on a Mon with high defense and low special defense. So, like Great Tusk, I wouldn't use Assault Vest with Great Tusk. I shouldn't say low because it can't be too low. Otherwise, Assault Vest isn't worth it. And I should say slightly low, because if you use a Pokemon like Great Tusk, it still might have too low a special defense, or as low as like Stone Joiner. You wouldn't want to use Assault Vest. You would want to use Sash because it has such low special defense that it's not even worth it. And on Great Tusk, they can use like a Specs Flutter Mane versus that and take that out. So, especially with your Headlong Rush defense drops or close combat, you'd probably just want a Sash on it. So, yeah. How do I put that though? Assault Vest user. Well, I already kind of put that slightly low special defense. So since that's more than just slightly low, then it wouldn't be a good one. Also, from its typing, it's commonly taken out by special attacks. Maybe I should. Well, it depends. I should say not weak to the most. Well, it can be weak if it's bulky enough, but generally it's not bulky enough. Not weak to the most common kinds of special attacks. So, for example, well, I guess I shouldn't say Great Tusk is good and bad as an Assault Vester, but I should say Great Tusk is an okay AV user, but Sash is generally better from its typing and low and really low special defense. It does have high HP at least, but its special defense is just so low. It's like, and it's weak to Flutter Mane and stuff. Like, it's weak to the most common kinds of special attacks. So, like Flutter Mane or Iron Bundle. So I should say Tusk is not the best AV user because it is weak to Bundle, etc. That is super common. Okay, and Armor Rouge, no, it has to probably use Trick Room or Protect, maybe, or Wide Guard. Azumarill might be decent with it because it has good defense and decent special defense as well, so it's survivable enough without Protect that you probably don't need like Protect or something. You can't use Perish Song with it either, of course, and other moves, but it's fine. Excalibur is a decent Assault Vester, nothing wrong with it necessarily, even though I don't know I don't normally recommend Assault Vest, but it might really throw your opponent off that's not used to it. Bellabolt would actually be pretty decent with Assault Vest because if you use Terra Flying, I think Zach Emerzion or something like that on stream, he was using Terra Flying Bellabolt. I forget versus who, but it can wall Great Tusk very well, and then or other, like typically the ground Pokemon are physical, except like the rare Camerupt and somewhat rare like Sandy Shocks, but generally they're physical. So you basically wall them pretty well on the physical side with Bellabolt as decent stats, and they're more likely to take you out with like a special move maybe. So that's where Assault Vest comes in, and then not really Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet's better with Sash probably because it has so many weaknesses. I should put that down. Wait, what? No, I should just duplicate the slides and renumber it. Wait, I need to insert numbers. No, I don't. It's just going to do that dumb stuff. 6. Okay. A Mon with not a ton of weaknesses and isn't super fragile. So I'm gonna say Brute Bonnet is probably better with Sash. Okay. Where was I? Cerulege, it's commonly taken out by physical attacks. So Assault Vest. Wait, where it is commonly. No. Where it is commonly not I meant to say not commonly taken out with physical attacks. Okay, and then so Cerulege would be kind of a bad Assault Vest user, and then Corviknight too because you kind of need to use Tailwind with it, and then Dondozo, not really, maybe kind of, but they could just hit you with physical attacks, or even if you have Assault Vest, then you can't stall with leftovers or other things. So Assault Vest might be usable with Dondozo, but it probably is not worth it. It's probably better to use like leftovers or something. You'll get more use out of it, and it's good on the physical and special side. And Dragapult is not probably a decent Assault Vester. It's not bulky enough. It'll just get killed by Flutter Mane even with Assault Vest, and you probably need like Band or something with it to do really well with it. Dragonite is actually a really good Assault Vest user because you have multi-scale, and Assault Vest helps against the moves that it's weak to, which are commonly Bundle, Ice moves, and Fairy moves from Flutter Mane. So having Assault Vest helps you really wall those, plus it helps you wall Indeedee Armarouge, and then I don't know why I even needed to make this, because I could have just shown you my tier list and went down the list. That makes more sense. But yeah, these are the 14 Mons I was thinking of would be the best Assault Vest users. Even though some Assault Vesters aren't great, like Tusk, that I could have maybe left off the list. But I figured I'll just list a bunch of them and we'll keep an open mind. Flutter Mane already has high special defense and low defense. I should say a Mon that doesn't have high defense, or I should say low defense, high special defense combo. So, in other words, Flutter Mane would be a bad AV user because it already has a ton of special defense. That is the weird thing, though, that I have to say is people in the past would use Assault Vest Gudra even though it already had like a ton of special defense. I think because they wanted it sort of like singles where Blissey just walls everything. They wanted Gudra to like wall everything special, And I think it's partly too because a lot of the moves that super affected are special, just like like the boat of Dragonite. So I can kind of understand that, but I think at least in Series 2, Assault Vest on something like Flutter Mane or Goodra doesn't make that much sense. Makes some sense, yeah, because you wall Freeze Dry and Moonblast and stuff better, but it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't make, in general, as much sense maybe as another item, but I suppose it's decent. And then I just because in this metagame, it's like there's so many physical attacks and special attacks that using Assault Vest, they could just use a physical Pokemon because they see it in open team sheets that you have AV. And if they know that, then they'll use physical attacks probably to kill you or super effective special moves. And then Gallade is decent with Assault Vest, even though I don't know if I would use it with Assault Vest because then you can't use like Trick Room or Wide Guard or something protect. And Gallade, a lot of the point of Gallade is that it's supposed to counter Dondozo. So Sacred Sword is a huge niche, and you wouldn't use Gallade very well in general. It's more of like a specific countermon to Dondozo. In fact, I might move Gallade down a tier, but I think I kind of left it in top tier, even though it's not top tier, probably, is because when I'm trying to build teams, I'm trying to think about options. Like, do I have an option to take out Dondozo or not? But maybe I should probably just take it off the top tier list because theoretically, if a mon's only worth it overall, if a mon's not good overall, but it's only good versus basically like one or two Pokemon, then it's probably not top tier or quite worth using anyways. So I probably should just take it off. I just like to stay open-minded, but maybe I'm too open-minded because it just wastes time. So then also AV Chomp is decent, but I mean it does wall a Freeze Dry with Assault Vest if you use Terra Ground or even without Terra Ground, yeah, it walls a Moonblast too if you use Terra Ground with it. It's pretty good. I have to say, I've been using Assault Vest Chomp and it's pretty dang good. But Soft Sand might be better. I'd say those two items are probably like the best, or Life Orb or something, but I don't really like Life Orb because all that recoil when like almost all the time I'm going to use a ground move anyways, so I figure either Soft Sand or Scarf or Assault Vest on Garchomp. And then Garganacl, obviously it needs recover, so and protect and stuff, so Assault Vest isn't good. A Gastrodon probably needs protect or recover, and they can just use a physical attack. So you'd probably want like Leftovers or Covert Cloak or Citrus or something. And Gengar, that's gonna be sashed because it can get killed by physical attacks easily. Glamora actually, people like to just use Terra Grass lately and use Assault Vest with it so that you can't kill it very well on the special side, so you resort to killing it on the physical side, and then it ends up laying Toxic Spikes on your team. So with Terra Grass, it's very good for that because it's like almost impossible to take out an Assault Vest AV Pokemon without a physical attack. And then Goth obviously not a good Assault Vester. Great Tusk is decent, but Sash is probably better because it has Headlong Rush and stuff and not a ton of special defense. And we're talking about versus a Flutter Mane that has a ton of special attack and can Terra Fairy and often uses specs or bundle or whatever. So yeah, I wouldn't probably use assault vest on Great Tusk. Even if it seems like it's good on paper, but it's not even that good on paper because it has such low special defense that assault vest isn't probably worth worth using. And Hatterene would want Trick Room, so I don't think Assault Vest is good on it. Assault Vest would actually be good on Iron Bundle, but you would have to give up like Protect and Encore and stuff with it, so I don't know. I mean, it's maybe not super, I don't know, it's not that good or bad, but the good thing about Assault Vest is it walls special attacks, and Sand can take off the sash on bundle. I should put that on mons where Sand would damage them if they were sashed. Well, I mean, it would damage them regardless of whether they have a sash or not, but I'm saying like a sash just seems better on mons like Great Tusk that are immune to sandstorm damage. So, wait, on mons? No. Yeah. So, here, what's an example of that? I guess Iron Bundle. Okay, so versus Tar plus some special ally. So that's where AV would come in, so they can't just Moonblast you or whatever and take you out in one hit. And you could say, well, why not use Sash then? Well, because of Sand or Fake Out or some little attacks that do some damage but isn't really that significant, but it would be significant enough to break a sash with a Fake Out or Sand damage. And the next one, Iron Hands, would be one of the best assault vesters because it just has so much special defense that it would keep it alive for a while and be annoying and counter Bundle Tusk with Terra, Grass, and whatnot. And I think I already put that, but where its primary weaknesses are going to be special, that's when Assault Vest is better. So it depends on the typing and matchup and stuff too. Iron Jugulus has to do stuff like Tail 1 and whatnot, so Assault Vest isn't good. Same with in DDF, it's a setup mon and Clef Key, but King Ambit would be a good Assault Vester because it has like a lot of attacking moves and high defense. So Mouse and decent special defense. Mouse Hold, no, it's a support mon. Metacam, maybe, but nah, I would use Sash with it. Did I put the defenses drop? Let's see. On a mon without defenses dropping moves like close combat, you might want to use Sash instead. And then, so not Metacam, it's too fragile and has close combat. Assault Vest, Meowscarada could die from a physical attack pretty easily too, so no. Mimic you with Assault Vest, Nav probably would want some technical move like Trick Room or something. And Miss Magius, no, it would want technical moves like Curse, Ghost Curse or whatever. And Murkrow, obviously not. It needs Eviolite or maybe Sash. Okay, Palafin, no, it wouldn't be good as that good of an Assault Vester because it very commonly is also taken out by physical attacks, and having Assault Vest limits your offense with it, so probably not. Pelipper wouldn't want to use assault vest because freeze dry, I'm sure, would still kill it. It has decently high defense, but its special defense isn't that great, and it'd still be 4 times weak to freeze dry, even though it would have 50% more special defense. Poltergeist is good with like strength sap, but it's not good. It's not gonna work with assault vest with trick room and all that. And then Roaring Moon already has decent defenses. Well, pretty decent special defense. Not that great, but better than probably average. So assault vest though wouldn't be that useful. You need probably like booster energy or something with it for like acrobatics. It depends on your set, but it's probably not a good assault vester. And Salamence might be okay as an assault vester, but you could just Terra Steel or Fire, and probably Terra Fire is better to wall, like a Moonblast or a Ice Move like Freeze Dry. And then Sylveon is decent, maybe with an assault vest, but already has so much. But you probably should just use something else, because they'll just hit it on the physical side probably anyways. And Rotom-H, that doesn't really help Rotom-H at all. I mean, a little bit survivability, but not that much. Okay, Sandy Shock's assault vest would actually be pretty decent, but just keep in mind that oftentimes Citrus is about as good or better than assault vest. It depends on the mon. Like, if that mon is, if the assault vest is just to keep it alive, it's like you might as well just use Sash, unless you're worried about Sandstorm killing it. So it really depends. But if you have decent attacking moves, like Sandy Shocks can use, you can use moves with it. The fourth move though isn't going to be that useful, but you could use like Assault Vest with Thunderbolt, Earth Power, maybe Volt Switch and Terra Blast or something. And Stone Joiner, that would want to use Sash because of its really low special defense, so it's not a good assault vester. And then Talonflame, that would not want to use assault vest because it needs to use Tailwind. And then Tatsugiri probably shouldn't use assault vest, probably use Sash because it's so fragile sometimes that you kind of need Sash. And then Tinkaton, assault vest isn't going to do that much for it because most of the attacks that super effective are physical, like Flare Blitz or Headlong Rush or Earthquake or something. So don't expect an assault vest to actually do anything that much. I mean, maybe versus a Heat Wave and this or that, but overall, don't use assault vest. Tinkaton, use like safety goggles or something else. And then Sarnia, whatever, that is good with Terragrass, Loaded Dice, but it's not that good with Assault Vest because it doesn't have it doesn't have like powerful enough moves in general to probably be that good. Even with Loaded Dice with Terragrass, it's like not even that great. It's like it can one-shot, like, I believe, Great Tusk, but even if it only hits 4 times, but you have to Terra Grass for it and all that, so, but yeah, Assault Vest is not good with it. Assault Vest is great with Tyranitar though, because yes, it already has really high special defense, but you're going up against Pokemon that are almost all special in like hard trick room, like Hatterene or Torkoal or Indeedee Armarouge, so Assault Vest is good. And Volcarona, no, you wouldn't want to use Assault Vest because, well, it depends maybe, but typically it uses like Quiver Dance or something and Protect, so Assault Vest would not be good on that. So hope you enjoyed watching the video. Stay tuned for the next one. See ya.